The following message is being transmitted at the urgent request of the San Juan County Emergency Management Agency in collaboration with the New Mexico Department of Public Safety. This transmission comes in response to a rapidly unfolding astronomical and atmospheric phenomenon of unknown origin, which has now been officially designated as a civil emergency. The event began approximately 1 hour ago, but has intensified significantly within the past 30 minutes, prompting a full-scale activation of emergency broadcast infrastructure. At 7:52 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, professional and amateur astronomers from the Four Corners Research Observatory observed the sudden and alarming alteration to the appearance of the moon. The moon, which had been normal in both brightness and color earlier in the evening, underwent an abrupt visual shift. Its surface darkened significantly, turning a deep, blood-red hue, and within moments began pulsating in slow, rhythmic waves that radiated black light across the night sky. This pulsing effect was visible to the naked eye and lasted for several minutes, followed by the emergence of a dull glow emanating from within the moon's core. In tandem with this visual transformation, ground-based sensors recorded an intense series of electromagnetic pulses and gravitational distortions that temporarily disrupted satellite communications and electrical equipment across several counties in northern New Mexico. High-frequency radio transmissions were scrambled, GPS signals were momentarily lost, and even basic analog equipment experienced unexplainable surges and malfunctions. These anomalies coincided with abnormal wind patterns and a sudden drop in local atmospheric pressure, which has yet to stabilize. Simultaneously, numerous residents across Farmington, Bloomfield, and Aztec began reporting disorienting physical symptoms. These include, but are not limited to, sharp migraines, dizziness, auditory hallucinations, extreme anxiety, muscle spasms, temporary blindness, and what one emergency responder described as a sense of being watched by an invisible entity. Most disturbingly, several cases have been documented where the afflicted experienced complete blackouts, only to regain consciousness in unfamiliar locations sometimes miles from their last known position. Of even greater concern is the transformation that appears to occur in individuals who are exposed to direct moonlight for prolonged periods, even through window panes or filtered light. These individuals have been observed developing drastic and terrifying physical mutations. Their skin fades to an unnatural, sickly white and appears almost translucent under ultraviolet scanning. Their teeth elongate into jagged, fang-like structures capable of tearing through thick fabric and light armor. Their eyes darken completely, becoming black voids with luminescent white pupils that glow faintly even in complete darkness. Witnesses say these individuals begin speaking in tongues, uttering guttural chants in a language that experts have yet to identify. Most horrifying is the set of abilities now being attributed to these transformed individuals. They display movement and reaction speeds comparable to, or exceeding that of a cheetah, with one case in Kirtland showing an affected person outrunning a vehicle traveling at over 60 miles per hour. Eyewitnesses also report these individuals teleporting short distances with a brief flash of red light and static noise, as well as executing superhuman jumps of over 2 stories in height. Video footage obtained from police dash cams and residential security systems confirms these accounts, although signal interference often distorts final moments of footage. Due to these developments, all residents within San Juan County are hereby instructed to remain indoors until further notice. Do not attempt to travel unless evacuation orders are issued by an authorized emergency official. All windows, skylights, and reflective surfaces should be completely covered using thick, non-translucent materials. Emergency services recommend the use of duct tape to seal any potential light leaks. Avoid mirrors, televisions, and any water surfaces that may reflect the moonlight. Do not look directly at the moon under any circumstance. Do not allow children, pets, or vulnerable individuals near exposed windows. If you or anyone you know begins to exhibit strange behavior, including excessive eye contact, whispering to themselves in unfamiliar languages, or unusual strength or speed, isolate them and contact emergency services immediately. Do not confront or attempt to restrain them. All local law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical personnel are on high alert and operating in a defensive response posture. The National Guard is preparing for deployment in San Juan County and will establish containment zones if transformations increase. Communication with federal agencies, including the Federal Emergency Management Agency and NASA, is ongoing. The Department of Defense has been alerted. Power may become unreliable due to interference. Prepare for possible blackouts. Ensure all devices are charged and have backup supplies of food, water, and light sources that do not require electricity. Keep radios tuned to this emergency frequency for continuous updates. Stay tuned for additional alerts, protective actions, and emergency broadcast content from your local Emergency Operations Center. This broadcast will repeat in 5-minute intervals until further notice. This message is being transmitted at the request of the McKinley County Office of Emergency Services. At approximately 9:02 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, multiple 911 calls were placed from residents across the Gallup metropolitan area reporting disturbing and aggressive behavior among family members, neighbors, and complete strangers. These reports, which are increasing in frequency by the minute, involve violent confrontations, incoherent chanting, and supernatural physical abilities observed in the affected individuals. Law enforcement officers who responded to the initial calls encountered subjects who displayed alarming strength, erratic movement patterns, and complete unresponsiveness to verbal commands. Several officers were forced to retreat after witnessing one transformed individual leap over a patrol vehicle, vanish into a red mist, and reappear directly behind them. The affected appear to be fixated on the flame now centered in the sky, which continues to glow with an unnatural crimson, and emit low-frequency vibrations detected by nearby geological sensors. As the situation escalates, citizens throughout Gallup, Church Rock, and nearby unincorporated communities are experiencing widespread panic and disarray due to the sheer unpredictability and danger posed by these transformed individuals. Emergency responders describe the possessed as displaying a complete lack of emotion or pain response, continuing to move and attack even after suffering major physical injuries. One officer reported unloading a full magazine from their service weapon into a target, only to witness the figure vanish and reappear on a nearby rooftop, before emitting an unearthly scream and leaping out of sight. Medical personnel at Rehoboth McKinley Christian Hospital have confirmed multiple patient admissions showing initial symptoms prior to transformation. These include prolonged gazing at the moonlight, subtle convulsions, language regression into unintelligible murmurs, and sudden bursts of extreme paranoia. Within 15 minutes of onset, subjects either flee or collapse entirely, followed by transformation and complete personality loss. There is no known cure or method of reversal at this time. The transformation process appears to be permanent, and the possessed exhibit highly coordinated hunting behavior, especially in groups. Due to these developments, all residents of McKinley County are instructed to remain indoors and away from all reflective surfaces, including windows, mirrors, car windshields, phone screens, and uncovered water sources. Emergency operations personnel are working around the clock to distribute blackout materials, but citizens are advised to use blankets, mattresses, or any available heavy cloth to block moonlight from entering living spaces. If you observe anyone staring into space for long periods, humming an unfamiliar tune, walking barefoot toward the moonlight, or muttering unknown words under their breath, retreat immediately and avoid physical engagement. These behaviors are now recognized as the final warning signs prior to full possession. Document their location and contact emergency authorities if it is safe to do so. Do not remain in the same building as the affected person, unless you are barricaded or equipped for self-defense. In an alarming new trend, drone surveillance has captured large clusters of possessed individuals gathering near tall structures, rooftops, or radio towers. Once congregated, they appear to raise their heads to the moon and speak in unison for extended periods. What they are saying has not been deciphered, but audio experts reviewing the footage report severe distortion and nausea upon listening. The meaning of this behavior is still being investigated. All local emergency radio towers are now protected by National Guard troops under the direction of the governor of New Mexico. Checkpoints are being established throughout Gallup and along Route 66 to prevent spread into neighboring counties. Travel into and out of McKinley County is currently restricted and requires military escort clearance. Martial law is now in effect within a 10-mile radius of Gallup city limits, and curfew orders are active from sunset to sunrise. Power stations are reporting failures across multiple grids, possibly caused by the moon's low-frequency pulses. These outages are expected to increase in both frequency and duration. Households are strongly encouraged to conserve battery power, turn off unnecessary appliances, and prepare to operate without access to refrigeration, lighting, or electronic communication for prolonged periods. Multiple local reports have confirmed that the moon now emits an audible whispering noise when viewed directly or indirectly. Anyone who believes they have heard voices coming from the moon or from inside their homes is advised to immediately relocate to a secure windowless interior room and contact emergency services if possible. Do not follow any such voices, regardless of how familiar or urgent they may sound. Repeat, do not follow voices, do not investigate flickering lights, and do not attempt to help individuals exhibiting the warning signs of possession. The transformation appears irreversible, and interaction places you and others at extreme risk. McKinley County has activated the Code Red Alert system for public safety. If you receive a text or automated call instructing you to evacuate or relocate, follow the directions precisely and without hesitation. The moon's influence is increasing by the hour. This is no longer an isolated phenomenon. Scientists now believe the cursed lunar radiation is altering not just individuals, but also the environment. Strange plant mutations, electromagnetic interference, and gravitational distortions have been recorded by multiple teams. Further updates will be issued as more information becomes available. This is a developing and increasingly dangerous situation. Stay tuned to this frequency for continued coverage and instructions from the McKinley County Office of Emergency Services. This broadcast will repeat every 5 minutes until further notice. This is an official emergency message transmitted at the request of the Torrance County Emergency Management Authority in collaboration with the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. The following alert represents a critical escalation in the ongoing lunar-induced possession crisis and constitutes an evacuation immediate directive for all residents within designated zones of Torrance County, specifically including Estancia, Moriarty, Mountainer, Willard, and the surrounding unincorporated areas. At approximately 10:24 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, local emergency dispatch began receiving desperate and fragmented reports from multiple neighborhoods, indicating that large numbers of possessed individuals were converging on populated residential and commercial districts. Surveillance teams from Sandia Base have confirmed that these entities are not acting randomly. Instead, they appear to be drawn to specific locations that emit electromagnetic signals, including cellular towers, Wi-Fi routers, ham radios, and even household appliances. These patterns suggest that the moon's cursed influence is no longer passive. It is now actively seeking to consolidate control and spread its reach through man-made systems. The possessed are becoming more aggressive, more strategic, and more lethal. Within minutes of their arrival in central Estancia, an entire street of homes was overrun. No survivors have been confirmed. Emergency units dispatched to rescue trapped residents were themselves ambushed, with modicum footage showing the afflicted moving in complete silence across rooftops and crawling on vertical surfaces. The last known transmission from a rescue unit included the chilling phrase, "They are in the walls. The moon is inside them. We are too late." In light of this overwhelming threat, immediate evacuation is now mandatory for all individuals located within a 10-mile radius of central Torrance County. Buses and emergency vehicles are being deployed to staging areas near Highway 41 and Route 60. Residents must proceed to the nearest evacuation point on foot or by vehicle using only the designated safe corridors, which will be marked by flashing blue strobes. These strobes are not detectable by the possessed and serve as your only visual navigation tools in areas where the moonlight is too intense to move freely. You are instructed to bring only essential survival items, one bag per person, including food, water, flashlights, first aid kits, and protective coverings. Pets should be secured in carriers or restrained with non-reflective leashes. Absolutely no mirrors, glass items, or electronics with screens should be carried during evacuation. Any devices that emit light or sound may attract the attention of the transformed. If moonlight exposure becomes unavoidable during your evacuation, use black umbrellas, heavy fabric, or thick garbage bags to create a light barrier. Avoid open fields or wide roadways. Travel in groups if possible, and assign one member to serve as lookout. If anyone in your group begins speaking an unknown language, becomes unusually quiet, or stops responding to their name, you must separate from them immediately. They are no longer safe to travel with. Reports have surfaced that the possessed are now capable of imitating human voices and may call out in distress to lure others into ambushes. Do not respond to cries for help unless visually confirmed through direct contact and code verification by emergency staff. Do not enter any vehicle or building unless marked with the official seal of Torrance County Emergency Operations. The National Guard will begin aerial extraction operations at 11:15 p.m. MDT. However, this ability is limited due to dense atmospheric interference caused by the moon's ongoing energy output. Rescue helicopters will only land at verified beacon points. If you cannot reach one of these points by that time, shelter in place with blackout conditions until daylight. Though uncertain, experts currently believe the moon's influence lessens temporarily at dawn. This is not a drill. This is not an isolated incident. The situation is growing worse by the hour. You are strongly urged to comply with this evacuation order without resistance or delay. Failure to leave now may result in fatal exposure to lunar transmitted possession and irreversible transformation. Prepare for full darkness. Avoid moonlight. Avoid mirrors. Protect your thoughts. Stay silent. Remain tuned to this emergency frequency for life guidance from Torrance County Command. This message will repeat every 7 minutes until further notice or complete signal disruption. This message is being transmitted at the urgent request of the New Mexico Department of Public Safety, the Valencia County Emergency Management Office, and in coordination with Federal Homeland Security personnel currently deployed in the region. A civil danger warning is now in effect for the entirety of Valencia County, including but not limited to the cities of Los Lunas, Belen, Mosque Farms, and all surrounding communities and rural areas. As of 11:39 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, local, state, and federal forces have lost operational control of multiple populated zones within Valencia County. All attempts to re-establish communication with the Valencia Emergency Operations Center have failed. The last transmission received contained a partial distress code followed by unintelligible audio consisting of whispering, heavy static, and what experts have identified as reversed phonetic speech. The code has not yet been translated, but analysts believe it originated from a source no longer fully human. Civilian sightings and military drone surveillance confirm that transformed individuals, now officially designated as lunar entities, have overrun several critical infrastructures, including hospitals, schools, police stations, and power grid substations. These entities are no longer moving erratically, but are now forming organized movements resembling military maneuvers. They appear to possess knowledge of human escape tactics, and have successfully ambushed multiple evacuation convoys and aerial drops. Worse still, reports from survivors indicate that the lunar entities are now spreading their influence beyond direct exposure to the moon. Multiple sources confirm that these beings have begun infecting others through touch, telepathic connection, and possibly even sound. Affected individuals have described overwhelming sensations of euphoria and a compulsion to see the moon before suddenly collapsing and transforming. Victims no longer require extended moonlight exposure to become possessed. Mere proximity or vocal contact with an infected host may now be enough to initiate change. A deep harmonic vibration has been detected emanating from the moon and recorded by geological monitoring stations throughout central New Mexico. The tone appears to affect the human brain on a subliminal level, disrupting circadian rhythms, memory processing, and language centers. Individuals have reported nosebleeds, hallucinations, and sudden bursts of violent behavior after prolonged exposure to the harmonic. Affected animals have either fled or perished under unknown circumstances. Due to the exponential spread of this condition, residents are ordered to take the following actions immediately and without hesitation. Do not engage with any person who is behaving abnormally, regardless of emotional attachment. Do not open your doors for any reason, unless instructed by verified personnel using secure identification codes. Do not attempt to evacuate unless part of a coordinated operation authorized by military or emergency officials. Do not use cell phones near windows or reflective surfaces. These devices may now serve as conduits for the spread of possession via audio or visual transmission. Do not look at or photograph the moon. Even indirect views through smartphones or camera feeds have resulted in sudden behavioral shifts and psychic breakdowns. You are strongly advised to disconnect all smart devices, televisions, computers, or anything with a screen. Authorities recommend powering down all household electronics not directly involved in emergency communication. Use only battery-powered radios on this emergency frequency to receive verified instructions. All highways, interstates, and back roads in Valencia County are now closed to civilian traffic. Martial law is being enacted in select red zones, and curfews are immediately in effect. Armed personnel will be patrolling these zones, and are authorized to neutralize threats with force if necessary. Do not resist directives. Do not flee unless instructed. Do not make noise or sudden movements. Be aware that the transformed may mimic the voices and behaviors of loved ones in order to trick individuals into revealing their positions. They may appear injured, frightened, or harmless. This is a known tactic. Do not respond to any communication that references the moon directly or uses phrases such as "she is watching," "we're awake," or "the sky is no longer ours." These are confirmed indicators of full mental transformation. Remain indoors, maintain total light and sound discipline, and stay tuned to this frequency. Further alerts will follow if communications remain intact. This message will repeat continuously for the next 30 minutes, or until radio silence becomes necessary. This is not simply a local event. This is not isolated. This is a civilizational threat that has reached an unprecedented stage of danger. Stay tuned for further official instructions, system alerts, and ongoing survival protocols. regular programming. This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. The following message is being transmitted by order of the President of the United States, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Department of Defense, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and all cooperating state and local emergency management authorities. This is an emergency action notification signifying the highest state of national and global emergency in recorded history. The situation has now escalated beyond all previous assessments and has reached a critical, irreversible stage. At precisely 12:57 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, global monitoring systems confirmed that the lunar anomaly known as the Cursed Moon has escalated beyond all previous projections and now constitutes an existential threat on a planetary scale. The moon's surface has permanently transformed, emitting an intense, pulsating dark crimson and black light visible from every location on Earth. This light exerts a profound hypnotic effect on all exposed humans, regardless of geography, age, or health. Those who come into direct or indirect exposure to the moon's light rapidly enter a trance-like state which swiftly progresses to full possession. This possession manifests through terrifying physical transformations. The affected individual's skin becomes an unnatural, ghostly white, nearly translucent under ultraviolet light. Their eyes turn fully black, devoid of sclera or iris, featuring glowing white pupils that emit a faint, eerie light even in complete darkness. Their teeth sharpen into long, jagged fangs capable of inflicting severe wounds on others and themselves. In addition to these physical mutations, possessed individuals begin to communicate in a known language comprised of guttural, unintelligible syllables and haunting chants. These utterances appear to have a psychological effect on others, instilling fear, confusion, and nausea. The transformation also confers supernatural abilities. Those possessed exhibit movement speeds exceeding any known terrestrial animal, teleport short distances instantaneously in bursts of red light and static interference, and demonstrate extraordinary leaping capabilities jumping distances of over 20 feet vertically and horizontally with ease. All attempts to restrain, contain, or neutralize possessed individuals have proven futile. Engagement with these entities often results in severe injury or death for untrained or under-equipped personnel. These beings possess strength far beyond normal human limits and appear resistant to conventional weapons and tactics. The lunar phenomenon is also causing catastrophic failures in global infrastructure. Electromagnetic pulses originating from the moon's cursed radiation disrupt electrical grids worldwide, resulting in widespread blackouts. Communication systems including satellites, cellular towers, internet backbones, radio, and television networks are severely degraded or offline entirely in many regions. Transportation systems have ceased functioning effectively due to a combination of mechanical failures, accidents, and hostile interference by transformed individuals. Governments around the world have declared martial law or emergency governance measures, but the scale of the crisis has overwhelmed most emergency response capabilities. Military units remain active, but are severely limited by communication breakdowns and the speed and unpredictability of affected individuals. Global coordination efforts are ongoing, but face unprecedented challenges. The following instructions are issued as immediate directives for all citizens within the United States and are strongly recommended for international populations. First, seek shelter immediately in the most secure, windowless, and shielded locations available. Ideal shelters include basements, fallout shelters, underground bunkers, or specially constructed safe rooms with reinforced walls. Avoid exposure to any source of natural or artificial light that might carry the moon's influence into your refuge. Second, completely seal all windows, vents, skylights, and doors with heavy, opaque materials such as blackout curtains, metal panels, duct tape, or thick blankets to block lunar illumination. Ensure no gaps or cracks allow any light penetration. Third, do not look directly or indirectly at the moon under any circumstances. Even brief exposure to its light causes rapid hypnotic possession, which is irreversible. Fourth, isolate all members of your household, especially those who are vulnerable such as the elderly, disabled, or ill. Monitor all individuals for signs of possession or abnormal behavior, including pale skin, black eyes with glowing pupils, rapid or unnatural movements, and the utterance of unknown languages. If such signs are observed, immediately isolate the individual and contact emergency services, but avoid physical contact or confrontation. 5th, suspend all travel and non-essential communication, except for verified emergency broadcasts. Use battery-powered or hand-crank radios for updates exclusively. Avoid smartphones, televisions, computers, or any electronic devices susceptible to interference or lunar influence. 6th, prepare for prolonged isolation potentially lasting weeks or longer. Stockpile sufficient non-perishable food, potable water, medical supplies, sanitation items, and reliable light sources not dependent on electrical power. 7th, comply fully with instructions issued by verified emergency personnel, including any martial law directives, curfews, or evacuation orders. Non-compliance could endanger yourself and others. 8th, maintain psychological health by fostering calm, cooperative, and supportive environments within your shelter. Mental resilience is vital during this unprecedented crisis. Emergency broadcasts will periodically provide guidance for stress management and morale. 9th, report sightings of possessed individuals or suspicious activities immediately to emergency hotlines, but only if it can be done safely without exposure. Do not attempt to confront, subdue, or detain these individuals as their physical capabilities and aggression pose extreme danger. 10th, understand that the scientific community has not identified any cure, countermeasure, or defense against the effects of the cursed min at this time. The event is unique, cosmic in origin, and defies all previous understanding. 11th, be aware that infrastructure failures will continue to worsen. Power, water, and medical supply chains may become unreliable or unavailable. Prepare accordingly. 12. Assist neighbors and community members if possible, but prioritize your own safety and the safety of your household. 13. Respect emergency personnel and military forces enforcing containment zones and curfews. They operate under extreme conditions with limited resources. 14. Stay tuned exclusively to emergency radio channels for any further updates, instructions, or safety information. 15. Accept that humanity faces an existential crisis of unprecedented scale and uncertainty. The world is known as irrevocably altered, and survival depends on discipline, unity, and resilience. This emergency action notification serves as the final official national directive broadcast. Emergency communication infrastructure may fail at any moment. Citizens must act immediately to implement protective measures. The President, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and all cooperating agencies express their deepest sympathies and solemn hope that humanity can endure this apocalyptic challenge. The time has come to stand united, to protect loved ones, and to persevere through these dark days. Remember, this is not a test, drill, or simulation. This is the stark reality of the cursed moon, a phenomenon that has forever changed the fate of Earth and its inhabitants. We encourage every person to hold on to courage, hope, and the spirit of survival. May strength and resilience guide us all. May the nation and the world endure. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and obey all emergency instructions. May peace find us in these times of great trial.